Now, the rules are simple. As I don't really expect anyone to get any of the answers right, I award points for being interesting and penalties, usually, if history is any guide, to Alan for being obvious, in which event I also humiliate him like this. Now, and take away 10 points. Each member of the team is able to draw attention to themselves by making a noise. Rich goes... Gyles goes... Rob goes... and Alan goes... Minus 10 to Alan already before we've even begun our first round.
Did you know that the Pope, when the Pope is elected, still has to have this ceremony in the Vatican? After the Pope is elected, the Pope is carried over a group of the cardinals. And now, of course, the Pope actually doesn't display himself, but in days gone by, he would display himself. And the cardinals, this still happens to this day, when the Pope is crowned, the cardinals, the Pope is carried on a chair over the cardinals, and they look up and they say, testiculos habet et bene pendentes. And this is, yes, it is
He has balls and he's well hung?
No.
Bene pendentes?
It means that they are well hung. They are hanging well. And it goes back to the time of Pope Joan, when a girl masqueraded as a young pope. And since that's when the ceremony was introduced. And so the tradition continues to this day.
Fabulous, 5 points, brilliant, I love it. How many legs does a centipede have?
None.
Oh, sadly not.
Centipede, because they don't really have legs, they have little...
limbs.
Limbs.
They're called
claws.
legs.
They have little claws.
Not claws, no. No, they're called legs.
Well,
yes.
Is it actually not 100?
It's not 100.
Not 100, no.
It's not 100.
No, you clever swine.
Do you see what I've done there?
You clever swine. You've avoided a forfeit. Brilliant manoeuvring.
Not claws?
It's not claws neither. No, I didn't. Yeah.
It varies, but it is always an equal and even number.
Ah, that's interesting. What Gyles says is interesting. Let me do this for a while and then tell you the answer, which is this. Centipedes have been extensively studied for over 100 years, but not one has ever been found that has 100 legs. Some have more, some less. The one with the number of legs closest to 100 was discovered in 1999. That recently. It has 96 legs and is unique among centipedes in that it is the only known species with an even number of pairs of legs, 48 pairs. All other centipedes have odd-numbered pairs of legs, ranging from 15 to 191 pairs. So there.
Outside.
So you're saying there's no Santa Claus?
I know something about Switzerland.
Yes, tell me something about
Switzerland has 4 official languages.
Yes.
None of which are used on their stamps.
None of which is used on their stamps. Is that correct? No.
Again with the grammatical...
No, again already. As an East Anglian, I refute that with every fibre of my being. The actual answer is a
No,
field...
you can't refute. That's bad grammar, that's, Tim. To refute, you have to provide evidence. You mean
Yes.
rebut.
No, I mean repudiate.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
If you weren't showing off, you could have said reject.
Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right. Though it's not bad grammar, is it? It's just bad semantics.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I stand hideously corrected and shamed. Very odd thing.
Ah, wait a minute.
Space smells like a geranium?
Mustard gas smells like geraniums.
Not mustard gas, hence the name, smells faintly of mustard.
Did you do the same trick when you met him as when I met him? We were walking along a corridor with this lovely William Morris wallpaper, and I learnt something about actually how to handle somebody if they're not being very interesting. Yeah. Because I was telling...
Do tell me.
I'm laying myself over.
There's a story of Brendan Behan in Canada. Do you know this? He was on Canadian television and drunk, as he always was. They said, "So what brings you to Canada, Mr. Behan?" And he said, "Well, now, I was in a bar in Dublin, and they had one of those coasters, and it said on it, 'Drink Canada Dry,' so I thought I'd give it a shot." One of my favourite layers of the atmosphere is called the Heaviside layer. Heaviside layer.
Is it a bit on the heavy side?
Well, no, oddly enough, it isn't. It's named after someone called Heaviside, who was a rather marvellous self-taught physicist. But it sort of sounds so like it should be.
Self-taught sounds like he writes it on the blackboard and then runs around and sits and talks.
What would you think, who should we ask this? Joe, I think you're the medical person here. What would you think if I touched the tips of your genitals with linen or papyrus?
To be honest, Stephen, I'd be bloody impressed you found the tip.
But here's something. The fourth largest navy in the world, if one goes by boats alone, Disney. Disney has the fourth largest flotilla navy in the world.
Good God. They'll be making films next. Dear, oh dear. The French statesman Talleyrand, 1754 to 1838 or thereabouts, once said, "I am more afraid of an army of 100 sheep led by a lion than an army of 100 lions led by a sheep." Make of that what you will, but it...
He's an idiot.
Well... yes. Well, will we...
He's talking metaphorically.
Yes. Yeah, obviously. That's it. Yes.
There was a suggestion once that the key to eternal life lies in the elbow, and if it can be consumed, then you would live forever, which is why nobody, no matter how hard you try, can actually lick their own elbows. Even though...
Clearly, we were
I know the audience are now desperate to have a go, but it looks so attainable until you come to here, and whether the theory came first or the curse came second...
You can, can't you?
The idea that you cannot lick your elbow, but they say if you can, you will live forever.
But isn't that how socialism was invented, that someone said, "Come, let us lick each other's elbows"?
It doesn't look good.
Well, the thing is...
So,
that no young man of licking age spent any time at all trying to lick his elbow. You're not actually seeing her there. You know, it's like the sun. What you actually see is the sun 8 minutes ago, because the light takes 8 minutes to get... With her, what you're seeing, because there's so much makeup, you're seeing an image... You're seeing her about 18 years ago. If you peeled away long enough... Like Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie?
Hello!
Explain Lionel Richie's connection. Is he very wrinkled?
Because of the clay head.
the clay head, of course, the clay head.
Hello! Hello! Is it me you're looking for?
Mick Jagger's got a great big head on a little body, if you ever meet him. He looks like one of those New Orleans carnival heads when he comes towards you.
I feel we've got an insight into what life would be like in an old people's home. I was in a room with Paul Merton and Nicholas Parsons, just to show off for a moment my showbiz credentials.
I'm going to change that, and I'm going to suggest it was a sauna.
Well,
Start again. I was in a sauna.
Right. With a leak-proof pen, obviously, because Paul Merton was writing on this piece of paper for quite a long time. And Nicholas Parsons said to him, "Paul, what are you writing?" And Paul said, "It's a suicide note." And Nicholas said, "Oh." And then Paul said, "Sign here, Nicholas." It's rather good. It's a rather good joke. My agent got a call yesterday. Now, I don't know what this means. And they wondered if I...
one of the dust off the phone.
One of the... What do they call it? What do they call it? Thank you.
Mr. Fry's agent.
Thank you. Now, what's the difference between a hydrogen atom and a grand piano? Jeremy got there first.
Well, size...
Yes. Yes, you're right. It's a foolish question.
Possibly Iraq did have the capability of splitting a grand piano.
Very, very good. Very good indeed. Your previous answer reminded me of a story which I might as well come up with about the great Edith Evans, who bought in the 1930s, she bought a Renoir. painting, which even in the 1930s was a reasonably expensive thing to do, and a friend was having tea with her and said, Edith, have they, have Sotheby's or Christie's delivered the Renoir yet? She said, yes, it's here. She said, well, can I see it? And she said, it's over there. And very low down on the wall was this Renoir, and the person, her friend, had to lift a curtain to get a proper look at it. She said, well, it's lovely, Edith, but why did you hang it there? And she said, there was a hook. I think typifies a British attitude towards art.
My uncle
Oh, yes.
stood on a landmine on Salisbury Plain
During
Bad
manoeuvres,
move.
was
during the national service.
Yes, because the army used a lot for...
It really hurt, but he didn't lose a foot.
I'm sure if the manufacturers had known it was going to really hurt, they would have come up with a safety version.
It was much worse than, for example, stepping on a drawing pin, which really hurt. Much worse than that.
Yeah.
Paper cut's the worst thing, isn't it?
Lemon on the paper cut.
Paper cut, because people say, oh, there's nothing worse than a paper cut. Not a sword, not a chainsaw, nothing worse than a summer cold. Syphilis, grenade up the bum.
Point. Hello and welcome to QI, the quiz that rhymes with Stephen Fry.